What's going on, everyone? So there are rumors and reports that Hayden Panettiere is in negotiations to reprise her role as Kirby Redd in Scream 7. Now, some people might love this. Some people might think, like, yes, bring back Kirby. A lot of people were very excited that Kirby Redd was back in Scream 6. For me personally, leave her out of it. I like Kirby as a character. I was excited that she was back, but I had my reservations, and all my reservations were correct when we actually saw her in Scream 6. She just didn't really serve a purpose. There was no real point. Story didn't really make sense. Like, there was no really explanation as to, outside of like, oh yeah, I pulled myself out of there. Like, if you were going to bring her back, I wanted them to bring her back with justice. Right? I wanted her to serve a purpose. I wanted her to have a more significant impact and role. I wanted a backstory and explanation. They kind of just brushed over everything and just had her in it as like, oh, hey, look, Kirby's in it. Right? It's like, hey, we couldn't get Sydney, but we were able to bring Kirby back. And it was just very disappointing for me personally for Kirby, right? Like, I didn't think that they should have brought her back to begin with, but when we got the news that she was, again, I was excited. But, you can go back and watch some of those old videos. I was like, I don't know if this is the best course of action, right? Like, you should have just, like, kind of left it a mystery. People were always kind of like, oh, she's alive, she's not alive, right? And it was purposely done that way to leave the debate. And there's some stuff that, is okay to just leave alone, right? There's some stuff that's okay to just kind of like, let's have the head canon, right? Where it's like, hey, she's happy married with kids somewhere. And then some people are like, nah, she died. She didn't crawl out. Like, it's just, to me, if you were going to bring her back, you should have done it in the right way. Now, look, maybe with Kevin Williamson and the new direction that they want to go, right? Could you bring Kirby back and maybe tell a better story? Sure. But it's just, maybe with Sydney, maybe you could kind of have that backstory scene where, she sits down with Sid and Sid's like, why, how are you able to survive? I didn't know, and kind of play dumb. But even then, that might make Sydney look bad, right? So it's just like, do you just bring her back and just kind of have it? Like, you have an easy, inherent way to incorporate her in the film, right? Because Ghostface, she hunts Ghostface, right? Like, that's what her job is, essentially, is the Ghostface hunter. And she basically spilled the beans that, like, hey, there's Ghostface all over, right? So maybe she gets, some word about this particular Ghostface. Look, maybe she's back and she's the opening scene. That could be a possibility, right? What if she's the opening scene kill, right? Like, so, again, based on rumors going around, take it always with a grain of salt, as always, but based on rumors going around that, there's something that basically, kind of raises the stakes and has no one feeling safe, that kind of brings Ghostface back. Well, okay, how do you do that? Well, you kill Gale. You're not going to kill Sydney. Maybe kill Mark Kincaid or something like that. But I think you kill Kirby, right? Maybe that's how Sydney and her family get saved. Maybe Kirby gets word that, like, hey, this Ghostface is going after Sydney. She shows up to go save Sydney, and then, bam, she gets taken out. But because she ends up getting taken out, it allows Sydney to get her kids and Mark out. I mean, that's always a possibility, right? You could always do something like that. Again, if you're going to bring her back, let her serve a purpose this time. Let her have some level of significance. Like, actually tell a story with her, develop her character, right? Like, we didn't learn anything. There was nothing to gain from Kirby being in it. She was just in the film just to be in the film, right? I mean, again, this is something we all talked about, right? I mean, I've talked about this on Lethal Collective and live streams and videos, and the consensus is that, like, yeah, Kirby was very disappointing. They might as well just left her out of it, right? I know a lot of people were very excited for Kirby's return and for Kirby to be back, and wanted her to have a significant role and point. And especially without Sydney in the film, I thought you really could have maybe utilized her better And I'm not saying that she had to be Sam's replacement or anything like that, but like you could have, again, given us a real story and clear direction. I think you could have given us, some just more little. I'm not saying she had to be in the film 40 minutes, but like, giving us some impactful, important scenes. Right? All the scenes were kind of just like brief and limited, and you didn't really gain information. You didn't really know how she was. It's just kind of, and I get that they wanted her to kind of be a red herring at some point, but I just thought you could have done that and still executed it properly. And it goes into kind of my concerns with the writing for Scream 5 and 6. And, I'm hoping it's better for Scream 7, because I just felt like a lot of the character development, a lot of just like the myths. I mean, even Sydney in Scream 5 was terribly utilized. Like, she served no point in that film. Everything that happened in that movie that Sydney did, somebody else could have done. Right? The tracking device, what does Sydney say? She said, I learned it from Gail, right? Like, so Gail could have put the tracking device on, right? The showdown where she, basically saves the day. Well, we knew that, Mindy was alive. Mindy could have been the hero and saved the day, right? And it would have been very fitting, right? Just like kind of how Randy did, right? Like, it's just, or what Randy was supposed to do, right? Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't want to bring back these characters just to bring them back. And it's like, oh, look at the shiny toy. And it's like, okay, well, what does it do? What's the point? Why do you have this? Right? If you can bring her back, tell a good, convincing, interesting story with her, actually have her tie in and make sense, and, have it, working correctly, right? Which is my hope with Kevin Williamson, him being back at the helm, and him familiar with the character and all that. Like, I just think that maybe he can kind of figure out more what he wants to do with her and how he wants to approach her and how he wants to have her involved. And like, it'd be cool to see Kirby and Sydney interacting again. It'd be cool to see Kirby and Sydney kind of, having a moment, or, helping each other try to crack this and solve the case, right? Like, that's what Kirby does, right? She's the FBI agent that, is tracking down Ghostface killers, right? And maybe this is all part of it. But if you're just bringing Kirby back and she's just going to kind of basically be what she was in Scream 6, I could do without it, right? I'd rather you not convolute this film with a bunch of useless characters and actually develop good characters and take the time to develop whichever characters you're going to have in this film. Right? Because you're going to have more than just Gail and Sydney and stuff like that. So to me, it's just like, I'd rather you approach this properly. And, if you're going to have Kirby in this film, then you need to develop her like you would a character that matters. Right? Like, because just throwing her out there just to throw her out there, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me, personally. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think Kirby should be back for Scream 7? Do you think that no, keep her away, leave her alone? One thing that I will say, like, I like the idea of like a Kirby series where she's just tracking down Ghostface. She's kind of like the main character, and maybe you could develop her more and do all that stuff. Like, I think that would be cool, but you're not going to be able to do that in a movie. So is there a point in bringing her back at all? Or, do you maybe do something like that where you do a series and you kind of give her the backstory and you kind of, fill us all in, and then now you bring her back into the movie, and now you can kind of tie it, and it's this like full circle moment, and everything kind of makes sense and adds up. Because it's just like, again, like you got like just dialogue in passing on Kirby, like when I pulled myself out of there, like how, why, like, like nobody noticed, like none of the killers were like, what'd you do? Did you run? Did you, like, you just went back inside the house and were just chilling? Like, it's just, I don't know, like, I would have liked even just like a quick little flashback, right? You could have done a little like 20-second scene and solved all of this, right? And everything resolved. It's just like, okay, perfect. Right? And it's just like, how did you get this? Like, like she's not 40. Like, it's just, I don't know. Her whole story, I just felt like it was a mess, and I just felt like she was pointless in the film, personally. But again, as always, this is a discussion. These were my thoughts and opinions. And, just because I feel this way doesn't mean that you do. So I want to hear yours down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. We enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.